Hello to all of you fine people out there, and welcome to your guitar adventure with a very, very first lesson on how to produce a note. Again, my name is Danny Klass, and I am going to be your instructor and guide, and hopefully a musical friend as we go through and learn about how to play this wonderful instrument. It's not even really; it's more than an instrument to me. I think it was Andre Segovia who said it's a mini orchestra with infinite possibilities and really a lifetime of pleasure. And so hopefully this first lesson will get you started on that. And if you know how to play already, this could hopefully still be a good lesson for you to review some of the basics. And at the end, I am going to give my idea on how to start to learn the fretboard. So the guitar, of course, is a complicated instrument, and I'm thinking of the piano, which of course is also complicated. But as I think someone once told me, in the piano you strike the note, and in the guitar sometimes you have to sort of find the note. And so, therefore, let's take a look at how to do that. And that's what we're going to be doing today, is just kind of looking at how to produce single notes. And then in later episodes, I'll talk more about chords and theory and all sorts of things. So there are 6 strings, and some guitars, of course, have more. They have double or 12 strings. And there are other instruments who have less. I think the mandolin has 8, I believe. And but typically a guitar will have 6 strings, and I am on what is called an acoustic guitar, meaning that the sound is produced just by the instrument. But really, for all these lessons that I will be doing, and for anything guitar related, it doesn't matter what you're playing. It doesn't matter if you're playing acoustic or electric or hollow body or semi-acoustic. And I say that because I think it's important to kind of break down the barriers between all these little kind of orthodoxies that come up with a guitar. Well, you have to play acoustic this way and electric that way, but any music can be played on any kind of guitar. I just happen to have an acoustic here because it's handy. So the strings are numbered 1 through 6, and by 1 we mean the high string, but by high we don't mean visually how high it is relative to your eyes, but pitch. And so that's this string right here, and we call that the E string, because when you strike it in standard tuning, it is an E, and that's the first string. And the second string, moving down in pitch, though up visually towards your eyes, is the second string, and that's a B string, meaning it is tuned in standard concert pitch to a B. The third string is the G string. The fourth string is the D string. The fifth string is sometimes called the A string. And the last string, the sixth string, is kind of neat because it is also an E when I play it, but it's at a lower pitch than the original E. And so one way, maybe not the best way, but one way to see if you're in tune is to play both of them together. That is the first string that we started with, which is an E, and the sixth string that I just did, which is also an E. And we play them together, and if we're in tune, which we more or less are, they should sound the same, just at a different octave. Okay, so those are the strings, and if of course you play them together, you get a sound. It's actually a certain kind of chord, a variation of an E minor 7 chord with a suspended fourth there, here on the A. Anyway, that's certainly a lot of fun, and one could spend a lot of time doing that. But the magic kind of goes beyond that, because there are all of these other bars here that you see, and they're called frets. And there is, of course, your fingers. You have them on both ends of the guitar. And so what that means is that you are able, as a player, to find and produce notes all over the place. And it's even more complicated than that, because then you can kind of double up on notes and chords and all the rest. But here's what I mean. The very first note I played was an E. It's what we call an open E. But there are other E's around. There's an E here. It just so happens. There's an E here. 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 They kind of keep repeating and repeating. And so in order to play them, you need to press down, typically on your left hand, behind one of the frets. And these metal bars are frets. And what they do is simply divide up this board called the fretboard in order for the player to kind of frame the sound and see how they want to find the note. So when you do that, you are shortening the string. That's the point of it. You're making less string, and so in so doing, you're increasing the pitch. So for example, if I play, well, here, this E that is on the right behind the 5th fret, and I'll use my first finger, I press down, and there it is. If I kept going up, I'm making the string shorter and shorter and shorter and shorter and shorter, and the pitch is getting higher and higher and higher. You're striking less string, and so the pitch goes up. And conversely, if I think I ended here, if I go back down, the pitch goes down. And this works all up and down the fretboard for all of the strings behind the frets, and that's how you produce a note. So a couple things. If you're just starting out and you're not able to get that sound, that is completely normal, and the pain that you're feeling, probably, in your left hand is also completely normal. And it is really part of the learning process. But what's going to happen is you're going to get these really ugly fingers, if I can show it to you there, and you're going to get what are called calluses on your left hand, although also depending how you play on your right hand, but definitely on your left hand. And you want them because then you just stop feeling the pain. So that is essentially the lesson for today, to kind of get familiar with how strings and notes work. We can talk more in the future, I guess, about how to hold the guitar. There's different ideas on that. So this is just kind of your standard position, where I have it positioned on my outside of my right leg, although my footstool's over there. But in the classical position, your inside leg will have it, and your left leg and your foot will be raised up for better access and better projection to the audience. And I hope you enjoyed it. I would say a good way to learn the fretboard, and one thing that could be useful for you as you go through your lessons, especially when you get to the theoretical concepts, would be to start memorizing the fretboard. And what that means is start finding out and playing where all of the notes are. And that can be a big deal and very complicated, because you've got 12 possibilities, 12 notes in the typical Western scale, and you've got multiple places. So a suggestion that I would give you, that I think my teachers gave me a long time ago when I had guitar lessons, would be find the places of 3 notes every week. So once you find, either in your book or online, the actual map of the fretboard of where the notes are, you can simply play them again and again and again, and that will be rather not too interesting, but it's a good way to kind of start seeing the patterns, because these patterns that you're going to catch up on, repeat. And I'll give you an example. For example, if you said, well, I want to learn where all of the C's are, or the C notes are on the fretboard, you could do that, and once you know where they are because you looked it up online or in a book somewhere, you could start playing them, and the finger won't really matter for this exercise, though I guess if you're asking, I would say use your index finger, because that'll force your hand up. So what I mean is, here is a C, here's a C, here's a C, Here's a C. Here's a C. Another one. And depending on how much fretboard you have, keeps going up because after the 12th fret here, the whole thing repeats again. So I would suggest you do that as a way to get ready kind of for some of the theoretical concepts. But if you perhaps have your own teacher who has a different method, there are multiple ways to learn the fretboard. This is not the only way. Okay, thank you very much for watching. I've enjoyed it, and I will see you next time with a lesson on fingerstyle basics for the right hand. Thanks, bye-bye.